A pretext is a purpose or a motive alleged, or an appearance assumed, in order to cloak the real intention or state of affairs.
Initial access. OMI is trying to get into your network.
Listen, this is your manager, and I'm trying to send off an email. I got this document. Need you to confirm a few details. So go ahead and log in and tell me what you think. I need this now, so to make this convenient, here is the link. I'm a threat actor, fishing mark for email is urgent to distract you with it. So how fast you clicked it when you submitted the form with your password in it. You probably couldn't tell there was an actual difference in the URL. The domains look alike though, and to you will look fine though. Well, mine had typos, so make it look like yours. See, I was in the mood today to make your account a communal space, but then you activated your trap card, and I saw you had 2FA, but I just shrugged. I'ma shake it off. Got on kid gloves, I'ma take them off. Got your phone number, I'ma make a call. I'ma break this wall, it just makes me lol. I'm moving quick, I'm on a mission. Yeah, I heard your network is lit. I'm trying to get in. Yeah, I'm trying to get me a hit. When I go fishing. Yeah, you probably think it's legit. I got you clicking. Yeah. Hello. Hi. I'm calling you from the IT department. We have been under attack by some hackers, and we think that your account might be a target.
Oh no, how do I fix this?
No need to worry, I wrote up a ticket. You'll get a notification from your authenticator app, so please pass me them digits.
1 sec.
Okay.
Yeah. The code is 112345.
Thank you. You fell for the lie, so I hung up the phone without saying goodbye. Cutting it short like a crew cut. Probably think it won't happen to you, but it happened to Uber. They say you win some, you lose some. Boys got a smooth touch hacking you too, bruh. You know how I be creeping, and I'm logging in your VPN. It probably looks anomalous. Some logs if you be keeping them, and probably unaware about the shares that have been peeping. And the reason I'll be seeking them, I'm looking for an easy win. You probably thought it was a magic trick, and you're mad you clicked. I'ma stack my chips and bet that a DA password is sitting in an admin script. I'm moving quick, I'm on a mission. Yeah, I heard your network is lit. I'm trying to get in. Yeah, I'm trying to get me a hit. When I go fishing. Yeah, you probably think it's legit. I got you clicking. I'm moving quick, I'm on a mission. Yeah, I heard your network is lit. I'm trying to get in. Yeah, I'm trying to get me a hit. When I go fishing. Yeah, you probably think it's legit. I got you clicking.
Hello, everyone. Hello again today. Thanks very much for joining us on another episode of Azure AI Study Group. So, before we get to the introduction, the music that was playing earlier, so that was Clicking by OMI. So I've put the link in the chat window, and the link is also showing up on the screen. So please do check out his work. He is a really great security specialist, security expert. He's actually got like a PhD in cybersecurity, and he also raps about tech and cybersecurity and stuff. So yeah, I'm very talented. So do check out the music. So anyways, how are you doing today, Kenny?
I'm fine. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's session.
Yeah, nice. So what's anything that's been going on in the AI world for you this week? Since the last time that we met, that's interesting to you.
Okay, so OpenAI, they recently introduced ChatGPT for teens, which I think it's a really good development. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. ChatGPT for teens.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what's that? What's meant to be like the difference between that and the general ChatGPT?
I think it's just meant to just protect the things from like teenagers from. It gives the parents like additional controlling what their teenagers are able to access.
Nice. Oh, that's really cool.
And,
That's really cool.
and I remember the last time where he talked about the EU AI Act, and all of this just
Yes.
brings it just brings me to remember AI governance. Like
Yeah.
all of this is coming together like under AI governance. And I think with the way AI is being misused these days,
Yeah.
protecting the teenagers, because right now in all practically all parts of the world, teenagers have access to phones, they have access to the internet, they now have access to AI. And I think this is actually a really good development.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, that's very interesting. No, thanks for sharing that. Um, so on my hand, I think one of the things that jumping out to me is the issue around costs. So I'm not sure if you've been following a lot of the news around costs and AI usage, or it's something that's getting really big, more and more and more
Yeah.
pronounced. So let me just read some recent news headlines to you. So for you to see like some of the things I'm talking about. So listen to this. So Uber burned through its entire 2026 AI budget in 4 months. I'll put the link in the chat window. So that was the first one. So you have a company that had a budget for AI spend, and they burned through the entire budget in just 4 months. Not only that,
Hmm.
a few weeks later, Microsoft came out and said to their developers, hey, listen, you guys have been using Cloud Code and you're using all this Cloud Opus and all this Fable 5. Okay, the spend is going crazy. So what we want you to do is to stop using Cloud and we want you to start using Copilot, which is their own
Wow.
exactly, which is
Their
their
own. Hmm.
their own
Everybody's
version.
becoming selfish.
Yeah, which is their own version. But not only that, then Meta came out, and Meta is like, okay, you guys, you're burning through all these tokens. So some people call it like token maxing. Burning through all of these tokens. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start putting um, limits on AI usage for the employees because they're like the cost has reached billions. And again, all these things that I'm saying, I'm putting the link in the chat window. And then one of the other ones that jumped out to me was Tesla. So Tesla also came out and Tesla was like, okay, employee AI spend will be limited to $200 a week. So there'll be a cap. So if you go beyond $200, that's your own spend. The company will only sponsor you up to the tune of $200 AI spend a week. So it seems as if we're at a point where costs of AI usage is beginning to be questioned by many people. So people are beginning to look at the costs to benefit ratio, and organizations are beginning to question and beginning to challenge maybe how they adopt some of these technologies. So that was one of the things that stood out to me in terms of recent news on AI and what's going on in the AI world. Yeah. So let's see.
That's
So, right, go for it, Kenny.
that's I think as time goes on and with the way this like the these companies are coming out with their own policies, I think people will start using AI less because it's, the cost is getting out of reach for a lot of people already. And
Mm, mm. And it's a very interesting thing if you think about it. So, for example, let me give you a scenario, Kenny. So, you're working at Microsoft, you're used to Cloud Code internally. So, you're using Cloud Code, and Cloud Code is helping you to get your work done quicker. And now the company says, well, you're not going to have access to Cloud Code anymore. We're going to give you a tool which may not be as effective as what you were using before. Do you think that may cause employees to start using personal AI for work usage?
yes, of course, because
Because some,
going from something really powerful to something less powerful, the best is to have your personal own. And I think
Mm,
even when it comes to like these different AI models that are out there, for me personally, for work,
mm,
I there was a time I used to use Claude a lot,
mm,
but now it's open AI because
mm.
like it seems like I saw it on Twitter too recently that even right now, currently, even from my own personal point of view, from my point of view,
Yeah.
ChatGPT is better than Claude when it
Mhm.
comes to some tasks. It's like as
Mhm.
if as time goes on, they are getting better than each other. Then I don't just don't know.
No, it is like that. That would be like a constant thing, right? It'll be a constant thing. So when it comes to like the models, I think that that's going to be a constant thing going forward. Every few weeks there is a new model that's announced, a new frontier model that's announced that beating other models in benchmarks, right? So they have all these various benchmarks that they run these models against. So every other few weeks there'll be like a new model that's beaten like a previous one and stuff. And I think that would be like a constant thing for the foreseeable future, right? Because of the competition that's going on like in this space. So models will always be. So it then turns the question to when we're actually operationalizing these things, how should people operationalize these things, knowing that the models that you're using will probably constantly change, and knowing that the capabilities of the models will also constantly change. How should people be building their agents? So that's a very interesting question, right? How should people be building their agents knowing that the model, which is a key part of an agent, is going to constantly change? I mean, I'm not sure. Do you follow like in Microsoft Foundry, for example, how often Microsoft Foundry retires models? Is that something
How
that you've
often it
looked
does
into
what?
before? Now, how often Microsoft Foundry retires models?
No.
So let me bring that up quickly. So they have like a retirement schedule, and I'll bring up my screen. So in Microsoft Foundry, so let's go to very quickly share my screen, and I'll bring up the screen. Yeah, can you see my screen? Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can see here,
Yes.
you
Yes.
can see like all these models, and you can see um, this is for Microsoft Foundry, by the way. You have this retirement schedule. I'll put the link in the chat window for those that have joined us today. And you have all these models where there's been announcement of when they'll be retired, right? So
Mm.
by November, that will retire.
November.
Yeah. So it's still like quite a long lifetime because again, these ones have been around for quite a long time, right? So these are deprecated already. This is deprecated already. But this API version is currently marked as legacy, which means it's on the way to retire, and they're going to retire it by this date. And then it's going to go away. So for the foreseeable future, we have to build model agnostic agents. In other words, we have to get really, really good at testing our agents on new models as they are released, and then also at validating the quality and the reliability of the agents very, very quickly. So we have to have a very strong AI ops process. So that's one of the things that doesn't get talked about as often. A lot of time um, we're more focused on like capabilities and stuff. We're not looking at the operations that people put around that, right? How to make things a bit more efficient. We're not looking at the operations. So, but these are some of the things that will come into play. We have to get really good at validating our agent and moving to new models as quickly as they are available or as quickly as we validated them and they fit our use case. So, okay. So, Kenny,
Okay. So
go for it.
okay, so still on AI
Yeah.
governance. Like I would like to ask, like with Microsoft Foundry now, how do they help organizations to implement or to use AI responsibly?
Um, there's a lot of things that Microsoft has in place when you're talking about a platform like Microsoft Foundry. So Microsoft Foundry, it's a platform as a service offering, right? The platform as a service offering means some of the responsibility of running the underlying infrastructure. That's the cloud provider that looks after those responsibilities, right? But that also means that there's a lot of governance that goes into what can come into Microsoft Foundry, right? So, for example, Microsoft has a lot of security capabilities that they've put that gates Microsoft Foundry, right? So they have a lot of capabilities around that. The API, they are not just exposed as raw APIs. There's a lot of gating that's gone into something before it can come into Microsoft Foundry. Before a model is adopted to Microsoft Foundry, it has gone through a few scans. So Microsoft, there's like third-party services that they use to run some scans on the models that are in Microsoft Foundry. So they have like some of these governance activities like taken care of by the cloud provider. But then to the cloud user, to the person that's using Microsoft Foundry, we still have responsibilities around what additional implementation do we have around that. So for example, are you going to use an API gateway to make sure that requests don't go straight to Foundry, requests goes through an API gateway or the AI gateway service in Azure before it gets to the Foundry model? Are you going to define the content safety guardrails? And which setting are you going to configure for the content safety guardrails? All of those are things that Microsoft actually looks after. So actually, let me share something with you that you may find interesting, and I'll share it with the audience also. So this is from a presentation that I did at Microsoft's Build earlier this year. So let me quickly go to this. So my presentation at Microsoft Build. Okay, I found the presentation. So one of the things that I shared was, let me go to this. And let's go to this. And share my screen. Okay, I'll share my screen and then let me know once you can see my screen. And let's go to share screen. Entire screen. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so this was a presentation that I shared at Microsoft's Build just earlier this year. And one of the things that I was calling out here was to say there's responsibility. So when it comes to like, let's say AI agent risks, you have the OAPS top 10 for LLMs, you have the OAPS top 10 for agentic applications. But what I did was when I combined both of them together, so the risks for the top 10 for LLMs and the top 10 for agentic applications, what you come to is you come to a list of about 12 risk groups. So that's roughly about 12 risk groups that you see. You see that, for example, prompt injection, that is cuts across both. Supply chain attacks, that cuts across both. Some of them only show up in one and not the other. So, but these are capabilities that we can implement in Azure, in Microsoft Foundry to protect our agent or to secure our agent. So, for example, you have Prompt Shield, Foundry guardrails, which are part of like the content safety capabilities or of the content safety service in Azure that you can attach to your Microsoft Foundry resource. You have Azure API management. You can also bake in content safety there. You have task adherence capability, which is part of the content safety. You have Azure, you have agent governance toolkit, which is a toolkit that Microsoft released earlier this year that you can use for some deterministic governance. So essentially what I'm saying here, Kenny, is that there's two sides. There is the responsibility of the provider of the service, Microsoft, but implementing everything that you see on this screen is our responsibility to implement this. Does that make some sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So one quick question then, from my hand to you, Kenny. So I mean, you work in the data space, and let's see, 1 minute. Yeah. So you work in the data space, and you've seen, what are the things that concerns you with regards to maybe how organizations may be using, Microsoft Foundry for data use cases? Is there anything that's concerning to you that you're a bit concerned about? Oh, hello? Hello? Oh, I think Kenny's internet. Hello, Kenny, are you there? Hello, hello. Hi, are you there, Kenny? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Oh, okay. I'm not sure. I think that maybe Kenny's internet might be having some troubles. Kenny, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you heard the question. So the question was, is there anything that's concerning to you with regards to people using maybe agents in Microsoft Foundry for data use cases?
Sorry, can you come again with your question? I didn't get some
Okay.
part of
Yeah,
it.
so what is concerning to you was my question. So anything that's concerning to you
Concerning
with
to
regards to,
about the usage
with
of
regards to
AI
people using AI agents, AI agent for data use cases.
for data use cases. I would say
Mm,
majorly, like a major concern for me is, like I've always said, data security.
mm,
How, when it comes to how some sensitive data are being used. Also, like you're a security expert,
mm.
and I would like to ask again. Sorry, I'm asking a question
No problems.
from.
Yep.
Okay, so when it comes to the data security now,
Mm.
who is responsible? Is it the organization or the developers that are responsible for security of like sensitive data now?
Oh, okay. In an organization,
Because you
it's
know with RAG now,
yeah.
with RAG now, AI agents are able to be grounded in organization data, and there are some sensitive data that organizations don't want out there.
Mm,
So within Microsoft Foundry
mm.
now, how do we protect those sensitive data?
Yeah, it's a very good one. So, and actually, Microsoft has started putting together like some solutions towards this. Are you familiar with Microsoft Purview? There's a service called
Probably
Microsoft
no.
Purview. So yeah, if you
Yes,
look
but
here,
not
Microsoft Purview,
really.
I'll put it in the chat window. I'm sure that some people in the audience will know what Microsoft Purview is. So Microsoft Purview is a solution that Microsoft has had for a long time, right? Microsoft Purview deals with concept of data governance, right, and data compliance in an
Yeah.
enterprise. So think about the scenario that you mentioned now, Kenny. You have all these data stores where potentially there are sensitive data in them. You might have private health
Yeah.
information of some of your customers, personally identifiable information of some of your clients may be in all of these different data stores. They could be SQL databases, they could be Cosmos DB, they could be Azure Blob Storage, it could be on SharePoint Online. So you have all these various data stores where you have potentially sensitive data, right? One of the first things is, what data do you have in all these data stores? So that's where something like Purview comes in. So something like Purview comes in because you can use Purview, you can connect all these different services to Purview. Purview will scan them, and then Purview will give you a report of, I can see credit card information here. I can see, personal health information here. I can see, legal information here. So Purview will classify the various types of data that you can see in all these data stores, and then it can give you a report that you can act on. But then what you can also do is that within Purview, you have solutions like data loss prevention. So data loss prevention is when you want to say something like, okay, if Kenny wants to share information that contains credit card outside of the organization, make sure that you encrypt that data before you allow it to be shared, or stop Kenny from being able to share this data outside the organization. So you can put in policies that governs the flow of data. So these are some of the things that you can do with Microsoft Purview. So sometime last year, one of the things that Microsoft announced was a way to integrate agents in Microsoft Foundry with Microsoft Purview. So, and the idea behind that is your agent will now respect the policies that you have in Purview. So actually, let me see if I can find like that document. Oh, I think that Kenny's connectivity dropped, but let's see. So let me see if I can find that document from Microsoft. So Purview integration with Foundry agents. So that was sometime last year, I believe, that Microsoft announced this. I believe maybe it was at maybe something around like Microsoft Ignites time. Okay, I'll share my screen very quickly so I can show this, and should be able to see my screen now. There you go. So here you can see like some of the announcements that they did, develop and secure compliant Microsoft Foundry or custom AI apps. And so they have like some of the use cases that they support. So govern data used at runtime by AI applications. So it's supported, across all of this. Protect against data leaks and insider risks. That's supported for if your agents are just Microsoft Foundry, that's not supported. But if your agents are built using the Microsoft Agent Framework, that's supported. And you can also do that via Purview APIs. If you want to prevent data oversharing, that's supported if you're just going to call the APIs directly. So you have like some of these like scenarios where Microsoft are beginning to integrate Microsoft Purview with, they're beginning to integrate Microsoft Purview with the agent framework. So expect more announcements around this. So Microsoft Ignite will happen again later this year. I expect more announcements towards this in terms of some of the capabilities that you can now use for like AI interactions. Does that make a little bit of sense, Kenny? In terms of an answer to your question? I know that your connectivity dropped earlier. Oh, are you there, Kenny? Okay, while we're waiting for Kenny's connection to come back, maybe to the audience also, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions in the chat window, and we'll try to address your question also. So if you have any question, maybe something around Microsoft Foundry, feel free to ask. If we know the answer, we'll share the answer. If we have some thoughts, we'll share our thoughts. If we have some opinions, we'll share our opinions. If we don't know, we'll say we don't know. If we're not sure, we'll say we're not sure. But feel free to ask your questions in the chat window. So while we're waiting on that, let me bring up what I was talking about with regards to this. So let me bring up my screen again. So one of the other things is, if you have a look at this example, I remember this example that was shared again at Microsoft Ignite. So use Purview SDK within the agent framework. So you have an example here where you have the agent framework, and then you can use Microsoft Purview SDK between that. And the idea behind that is when your agent is interacting with data, your agent can check with Purview if there are policies that the data that is interacting with matches. And then the agent itself will respect that and the agent itself will respect that policy that you have in Purview. So let me see like a very good example here. So yeah, you want to do things like inline blocking of sensitive content based on data loss prevention policies. So for example, the agent is about to share something sensitive. You can have Purview policies, DLP policies, that the agent will actually respect and block that. So for example, the same way that you can have a Purview policy that says if somebody wants to copy sensitive data from their PC to a USB, block that flow. If somebody wants to upload credit card information into a web service via the web browser, block that interaction. The same way you can now say if somebody wants to transfer sensitive data through an agent interaction, block that interaction. So that's one of the key use cases that's supported with this integration between Microsoft Purview and the agent framework. So again, I expect more announcements from Microsoft around this. Okay, any questions, any other questions at all? Any questions from the audience? Or anything that you want to clarify, we'll be happy to. I think Kenny is having some difficulty with our internet connection, so it's dropped a few times now, so apologies for that. Okay, so if there are no questions, let's see. Is anyone planning to attend Microsoft Ignite end of this year? So I think Microsoft Ignite is going to be taking place this year in San Francisco, the Moscone Center in November. I'll put the link in the chat window. Anyone planning to attend? I am planning to attend. So it'd be good to connect if anyone is planning to attend. Yeah, so I put the link in the chat window. So it's going to be happening in San Francisco, the Moscone Center this year. So it's always good to see people in person. Oh, Kenny, welcome back. Are you back? Are you good now? Is your internet good? Hello, Kenny, are you back? Is your internet good? Yeah, yes, no, all good? Hello, Kenny, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Hello, can you hear us, Kenny? Oh, yeah, did we meet at the Cow Cry Strike conference? Oh, yeah. Oh, nice to see you. Yes, that's true. Yeah, same. Oh, yeah, that would be really cool.
Hello, I can
Oh,
hear
nice. Okay, so I'll just explain like the other stuff. So yeah, any other questions that you want us to address today for the audience? Oh, okay. Kenny's internet connection dropped again. Okay, I'm not going to keep everyone waiting. I think this some of the challenges that we have in different places of the world with regards to network connection and internet access. But I'm not going to keep you waiting on the line. So yeah, we're going to probably pause there for today and stop there for today. So in the next 2 weeks, Kenny, I know she's preparing. She has a presentation that she's preparing and something to do with working with data with Microsoft Foundry. So I'm looking forward to that presentation. She was sharing a little bit of that with me earlier, so I'm looking forward to that. And so, yeah, so we'll see you in the next 2 weeks. Have a lovely rest of the day. Have a lovely rest of the weekend, and see you later. Oh, I heard Kenny's stuff pop back up, but yeah. So, okay, let's see. Hello, Kenny, are you back now? Are you back? Oh, good. Oh, okay. So I won't like to hold the audience. Yeah. So thanks very much, Richard, for joining. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Olakunle. Thanks for joining. So yeah, see you in the next 2 weeks when Kenny will be sharing a demo with us on working with data in Microsoft Foundry. So have a lovely rest of the day and bye for now.